Currently back in the van, ran away this weekend, and it's stinking hot. But thankfully we've managed to hook up the fans and just to a little battery down here. So that's providing at least a bit of relief, because it was like 40 degrees yesterday. It was brutal. Anyway, what we're doing is we're building out some ribs to line the walls with, that we can then line the ply onto. We can stick it onto the ribs. But because the van it's got like a proper curve going up it, we're having to really be smart about how we do this, and so not losing heaps of space. So yeah, I'll try and film as we go along.
Hey, if you're new here, we're Ben and Shelley, and we're in the process of building our dream home on wheels. It's not our first van, but this one's bigger, smarter, and a little bit fancy. So far we've soundproofed and insulated, fitted ceiling fans and water tanks, built the ultimate pull-up bed, and sort of the full off-grid electrical setup. With Shelley's dad Terry helping out on the tools, we're slowly piecing together our ultimate off-grid van, one project at a time.
That's what I'll do. Make a template of what the curve is, and then see how we go transferring it through.
Yeah, nice.
Oh yeah? Because I'll go sort of there to there, and then this will just go straight over the top of it. By the time we put, say, 2 screws in there and a screw in there, and where we can, we'll get something fixed on this rib in the middle. There will be the reverse side of this inside here, and then that'll stick. They'll be glued and screwed together, screwed onto there, and we'll anchor that off where we can. Little level of complexity, but it's not that much.
Okay.
It's not going to be that hard.
Okay, so if that didn't make any sense to you, it made sense to me. So let me explain it in Ben terms. So we've got the ribs on the wall here, and then this, obviously, you can see my hand. There's a gap here. So what we got to do is we've made up a template for the curve, which is universal all the way along here. It's all the same curve, which is nice. But now we have to do an inverse of that. That will be the other side of the curve, which will then fit behind here, that we can then mount on the wall behind here and then go and screw in. So then this has got something that's holding it in, so it's not just yeah. So that makes sense, right? I think so. And I don't think it should be too tricky, because it's all the same curve, so it means it's all the same inverse. So let's just make up the template and screw it on.
So in order to get as much depth out of this recess as possible, we're going to scribe a little bit back where the white panel in the middle comes out, and that way you can sit a little bit more flush. I'll show you a picture of it on the van next. So the noise you can hear in the background there is the rounder that Dad's using. We've just put a straight edge on it, and that gets the cut out of the back without cutting it all the way through, meaning it can sit more flush against this white panel behind me there. Actually putting the guitar for Ben sideways on this, so one panel wasn't enough, so we're going to make it one long one, which means it's just not going to be as deep. On the opposite side, where you are, we're going to have 2 different sized arches, pretty much matching, mirroring these ones. Yeah, just to give it a little bit of a look and, I don't know, make it stand out a bit, make it look a bit special, finish it off, bit of character. Who knows, we're hoping it looks good. Some nice arches. We'll show you how to box it in. So we're going to make it like a box, like we did with this one here. And then we're going to arch up, curve up over the sides. We'll show you when we get to that bit, and hopefully Ben and his magic can draw a little picture of what we're doing across this frame here.
So by building supporting beams on the walls where we want our recesses to fit, this allows us to screw the back of the recess onto the wall, while giving a structural support for when we put the full wall piece on that we are able to stick the wall onto. For the recesses themselves, we're going to cut an arch in the wall material, giving the recess a depth and 3D arch within the wall.
My turn to try. Time for a test fit.
That's pretty good.
Nice. Well, we've got to have done something wrong. This can't work first go.
Just let your end out a bit, so it's not sitting straight. Don't push it in.
We did make a mistake. It was where we cut the scribe out for the middle piece. It's too far this way. Doesn't matter. Because there's flex in the back of this piece, we're trying to get it even on both sides so the recess isn't crooked. It's really, really hard to measure because you can't measure from behind. So that's why it's all hands on deck, because we had a few issues when we did the shower recess. Okay, so we've measured out the top and bottom bits, and we're going to take this and assemble it in the shed, make our lives a little bit easier. Time to assemble some more recesses. We are getting there, people. We are getting there. Such a nice day. Look at the sky. Alright, so we measured as good as we could. So this is going to be nice and even from the back. So we got 60 on the front, on the top, and 50 on the bottom. And we've cut some ribs to go with that. Now we're going to glue and put it together in here, hopefully making our life a little bit easier, especially because this is really big. I'm very clearly in my DIY era. Dad bought me my own drill set for my birthday.
You know where that one's going?
Straight to the bin.
Oh, missed.
It's by a mile. Let's test it. So we're actually sticking stuff to the van today that's gonna stay there. Exciting. So good. Nice. Ta-da! One recess and one bathroom recess. So we're not going to keep this as a square, we're going to arch this over and make it look much nicer. But for now, looks like a funny looking bedhead.
The next day.
Morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so we've spent the last few days doing these two recesses. The shower one has been a pain, and it's got to have all these extra bits. We'll go through why that one's such a pain when we actually install the shower. So we're going to put two on this side, and we're sticking in line. Not sure if you can see from this image, but this is smaller than this one, and we figured we're just going to go 1, 2, and 3 different sizes, so they're going to look a little bit uneven, but we think that'll look good, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, make it look different. So the wall is going to go across here, and these are our ribs that we're going to start sticking the actual wall piece to. So that's why this one had to come down here, because the bed comes up here. On this side, we've got our whole desk area. So these recesses can come just straight down to here, and we can plug them, screw them into here. So it should be a little bit simpler maybe.
Yep.
So from this angle, you can see we've got our nice big recess here, and 1, 2 on this side, so it's going to look really nice. The other thing we did is when we insulated the van, we were not this far ahead. So this insulation is about 10 mils thick, and there's a little rib that comes out. So we've just cut that section out, which means we can keep the recess a little bit deeper there, that 10 mil deeper. And by breaking it into 2, we don't have to come out this one. So like the one on the opposite side came straight across this, it's really thin. This one we're gonna have a bit deeper so it can actually store some things. It's more for decorative purposes. Yeah, it's definitely more for decorative purposes over actual storage and functionality, but I think it's going to look really nice because we're going to have like a face wall. We're not having tongue and groove, we're just having a plain wall, and we're actually going to lime wash it and make it terracotta. So it's going to be white on the bottom and terracotta like arch theme on the top. Fingers crossed it looks nice, that's my vision. We'll see how it comes to life, but let's go measure out the slats to get going on these recesses. So what are you doing here?
I'm just estimating this to start with. there.
Don't be like us. We've already made the templates for this side. Glued them all on, stuck them together. Forgot to make another one to use on the opposite side, so now we have to start from scratch and do it again.
That measurement from there is 90mm. So when we scribe down here, which is pretty good so far.
Oh, shit, sorry.
So I've just scribed that to get, there's a little bit of curve in there. I've guesstimated this at the top to start with. I'll now measure out, this will be 70mm from here. So this is where we'll want to start. I'll just need to notch this out so I can actually get this rib in down into there to test fit it. So I'll just notch a bit of that out, and then we'll set the curve with this that we made for these. There's the curvature that we sort of want. So we'll utilise that. We should be able to just utilise that from there to there, but I'm just going to check it first. Cut this bit first and see how we go.
Is that precision? Precision line, Dad. So it is all a bit of a guessing game. Use your little scribe to get your piece out. Cut it, test fit, cut it smaller, test fit, cut it smaller, test fit. You don't want to take too much out of it because then it's going to lose a lot of strength. So yeah, cut, test, cut, test, cut, test. Then we'll get it right. We could have skipped this whole stage today, but silly us.
Alright, so that's just about right by the looks of it. We probably just need to take a little bit more out of that. The bottom looks pretty good. Now we're just an absolute millimetre or so off of here.
Or a fly shit, as you'd normally say.
Fly shit. Just
Oh yeah, I
off
can
the
see it's
front
not in the back, yeah. We're in.
There. That needs a little bit of trimming off there, but that'll fit then. Just did a test fit on the others, it's all should be pretty close. Now what I've got there here, we will be having these 12mm battens over the top everywhere to carry the sheet. So this is...
That's the wall sheet.
The wall sheet, yes, sorry, the wall sheet. And this is our template that we made for a bit of a curvature in the wall. So, all things being equal...
In other words, this one has the right curvature in it, so there's going to be a small curve in the wall on both sides, and it'll match.
We scribe down the back of that, and when we cut that to that line, that should be our piece. So really the other one was quite a bit different anyway, so it wouldn't have made a lot of difference.
So we need to cut this piece off?
Yep, we need to cut, this is our waist. For any who don't know that, wherever you see a cross, that's your waist side line.
You can see
side.
as we put it in here. No.
The right way.
You do it, I can't do it. See how that sticks out past the wall? That's what we use the other pieces for, to push it in, so this will be flush, and then the wall piece will come down flush to that line.
Yeah.
Just a bit of measuring and stuffing around. Ta-da!
So that's sitting roughly where it should be. And then when our 12mm piece goes over that, screws onto it, should be pretty good.
And then this is where the wall is going to glue to.
That'll go
And
on
then
the
this
edge
piece
of
is
that.
also going to make the edge of our recess. So wall piece here, rib, and then this will be the inside of the recess. That's what we're going for on this side. Now we're measuring out, checking that they fit on the other 4 corners that we need them, and we'll go cut for 3 more.
I'll show you a trick. Once we get the first one cut, there's a really easy way to get another 3 exactly the same. So,
Terry's tricks coming right up. This is all our off-cut pieces over here, so we're really trying to use as many off-cuts as we can to not waste anything.
No, not going to work.
Oh, close. We'll get 2 out of this piece.
We'll get 2 out of it anyway, that's alright. Don't even worry about cutting the back edge, but just aim to leave a couple of millimetres left, and we'll trim these up with a flush trim router bit, which I'll show you that. Nice and simple, as long as you've got a flush trim router, as long as you've got a router. It's you make all the pieces exactly the same. Now, that was our original piece, so I will just mark that so we know. Whenever you're doing something like that, you try and just keep using your original piece in case there's a slight variance in the others. Now, Shelley's going to cut all these out, and what we're going to use now is a flush trim bit on a router. Now, I find the easiest way is just to put a couple of nails in these. You can double-sided tape them and a couple of different things, but I find the nail hole won't worry us on this one. Ideally you want to leave a couple of mil. These flush trim bits will cut through a lot, will cut through that, and this is pretty easy timber to cut through too, so ideally just 2 or 3 mil, and it just trims it up nicely. Now I've got my router mounted upside down in the table. You can do this with a little hand trimmer. If you've just got a little hand trimmer, you would just clamp that into a vise and do it with the hand trimmer. This is easier. So this is what you call a flush trim bit. It's got a bearing on the top, and it's the same width as the cutter underneath. All you need to do is set this up so the ball bearing will roll around your sample piece. So it's just got to be set at that height. This is the worst part of the process. So I find I've used a lot of these in the past when I want to make a template for something. I'll even make the template out of a little bit of 3mm MDF or old masonite or something, and that's enough for that to follow it. But this is pretty easy to work with, so we'll just do that. Now the only thing that remember with a router is that they spin anti-clockwise. So when you're cutting, you want to be pushing into that rather than running with it. Simply because if you're running with it, it'll tend to spit off push you out of the way a bit more. So I'll do this first one, and then Shelley can do the rest of them.
Why?
While I go and have a beer.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. No. There you have 2 pieces, basically exactly the same.
Nice.
Oh, that's a nice easy one to start with. There's not much. So again, stand, get yourself nice and stance. Obviously fingers nowhere near that. Okay, because that will
Like
just
this?
tear into bits, yeah.
Because it goes anti-clockwise.
Yeah, it spins this way. See how the things cut into this way? So you want to be pushing it into the cutting. Because if you're pushing, you can run it the other way, but it'll tend to spit out on you.
Okay.
It doesn't matter which way you move it, which angle here, as long as you're pushing into that.
Cool. Done.
Okay. If you've got a normal belt sander, you can just use your normal belt sander, mount it upside down in a vise, something like that, or one of those little stone tables. I used to use that, clamp the belt sander in that, and you can do the same thing. That looks about where it's got to be, hey?
Yeah. So the reason we're coming in here is just it's easier.
Yeah.
It's more complicated to pull out to the side. We'll have to curve it, whereas now we can put it in a box and curve it for the look afterwards. But yeah, if you pull it out to the side, it's way more complicated, so we'll just make them a little bit smaller. Again, this is only aesthetic, it's not actual Okay, so what we're doing now is we're cutting the back piece. So we've measured how deep we want it and how wide we can have it based on the actual recess. So we'll cut those, put it in, and then screw it together and hope should work. Back piece here. And because it's really hard to screw in when it's on the wall, we've scribed out, so just got a pencil and put it in the place. And now we can go into the shed, screw it in where we need it because we've got the pencil marks exactly where it's supposed to be, screw it and glue it, and then come back. And we've just got to build, well, make a piece, a strap that goes across the top and the bottom to allow us to screw into the van. So there's going to be a piece across here, and we can screw up there, and the same, a piece across the bottom, screw there, and then we'll screw the whole structure into it. We did it with this one, but we just made a small piece. We're just trying to make it a bit easier for ourselves.
64 plus 12 is 76.
So this is the top bit, and we've got silicone on it for strength. This is going to go straight into the van, and then we're going to drill this piece into the bit that's siliconed into the van to give it lots of strength. Okay, we've got this one in. It's time to repeat and put the other one in. We'll show you when it's getting plugged into the wall. Ta-da! 1, 2, 3. Super happy with how these two new recesses are turning out. Can't quite see in the camera angle here, but they are different sizes, and we don't want to keep it square because we don't want to make anything too simple for ourselves. So what we're going to design now is an arch to cover over the top two corners, just like a little curve in the side. If we were to do a proper arch, we would lose so much of the recess. So just a curvature on the top, and we're going to keep the 90 degrees on the bottom, and that should really just make this van stand out and just, yeah, look a bit more professionally done. Definitely couldn't do this without Dad. I wouldn't even bother trying these recesses without Dad. It would be a flat sheet on the wall and maybe a shelf. So super stoked. It's gonna look so good.
That's enough lessons in carpentry for one episode. Tune in next week as we keep chipping away at this van build, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. See you then.
I'm sure you can hear we've got another summer storm happening, and it's a big one. Terry's getting soaked.